Hello everybody, my name is Dell. Anyways, let's get into this video. So we're dealing with Foundry, and this is a video called Why Kids Love Horror. And I remember liking horror a little bit. But then again, I'm a little bitch. So, sometimes it's there. But then again, my fear response is to punch the shit out of it, and a lot of these horror creatures don't let me do that.
Decades, I'm about to say three little words.
Although Alien vs Predator and a lot of the Alien movies are pretty good.
Book fair.
Oh god.
See? Your pulse just spiked a little, didn't it?
No.
Obviously, I never attended one of these myself, but they're sort of enshrined in history as something akin to holidays for the children who did.
I remember them.
Many people
I was never able to buy one of these.
Walking into your school gymnasium or library or auditorium to see the place transformed, full of colorful cardboard shelves loaded up with fresh books.
Cardboard?
For a lot of kids,
nah.
The most precious finds would be the newest.
Yeah, no, I couldn't buy a book. Man, my days back then were eating crock-pot chicken. And no, it's not chicken that's been seasoned. It's just warm, wet chicken. It sucked. We did not have the money for a fucking book fair.
Guinness Book of World Records, or Ripley's Believe It or Not. But for a surprisingly large number, what they wanted more than anything else was the latest issue of Goosebumps.
Oh yeah, Goosebumps books are fucking cold.
Surprised?
I don't remember which one is my favorite. It definitely spawned some weird habits in me. But I think no. Green eyes, orange skin, swallows things, spits them up on your bed and says, "It's a present." Don't remember what the fuck that creature was. But I know that book.
Horror aimed at
I read the books, I've never watched the show.
After all, Goosebumps was a runaway phenomenon that changed the landscape of publishing. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is infamous to this day for illustrations so haunting it ended up on a number of banned books lists. We've talked about Coraline plenty of times on this channel. Even now, we have the whole mascot horror genre.
Oh god.
Titles like Five Nights at Freddy's practically dominating the market for children's media. It seems a little dissonant, doesn't it?
Fear.
These spooky titles for kids. Why is it that children, the most innocent and vulnerable of all human beings, apparently just love to be scared?
Because, simply put, most of the fictional villains and monsters are truly nowhere near as terrifying as a true demon. Man, I'd rather get into a boxing match with a werewolf, vampire, or a ghoul, or any other nonsensical creature before I have to pay my damn taxes. Like, I'd be boxing with that before I had to box with the IRS. I can't even box the IRS. They just come and take your shit. Or bills. Bills are scarier. They're evil. True evil. Yeah, so like what your character used to protect them from their parents. But yeah, aw, that's cute. If you're watching the previous Tale Foundry video, this is kind of a little bit after. There's like one song in between from CG5. But yeah, the conversation is still going on about the rogue paladin thing going. Yeah. Da, da, da. I'm realizing I'm being conditioned by this fucking intro.
I just sometimes wish I could use it without worrying about my safety. Even if you've taken all possible precautions, it's almost guaranteed that data brokers have built some kind of profile on you and are
you can't escape
to
them.
To anyone with the money and the motive. Your home address, contact details, license plate numbers, family members,
Wait, is there a way to make it so that you could pay for your own information just to see, like, hey, yo, what can I buy off this dude? It's like, yeah, okay, we'll give you this. He's like, okay, so here's how you know what's on me. Okay, they got this information. Interesting. Like is there, where does one go to buy this information? Because if always knowing that people are selling our information, right? Who the fuck is selling it? Like, where's the storefront? Where do I go to buy my own info?
Financial information religious and political beliefs, sometimes even your social security number, bundled up and ready to sell. And
This is why whenever Google asks me, do I want to save my fucking. He sort of thought their parents killed her before he killed them. Oh. Oh, that's sad. So you killed your mom and dad and thinking that she killed your sister, but then your sister sees you kill them. Oh, that's just a cycle of pain. That's fucking cute. And when I mean cute, I don't mean like, oh, it's cute, adorable. I mean like, it's cute, like, oh, that's a neat little idea. I know I'm weird. Words are meaningless, and I can assign a new meaning if I decide to. What else was I saying? Oh yeah. If you buy your own information, right? What? Wait, no. What the fuck was I talking about? Buy information. Then I was leading into something else. Oh, and you know about him being alive because you're paladin. Nice. You know what? I give up on what I was talking about previously. If it comes back to me, it comes back to me.
it's not just spam callers or healthcare providers who can buy this stuff. Anyone can access this info. Fraudsters, impersonators, even stalkers. It's a scary thought.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, our sponsor.
Oh yeah. It's the reason why whenever I go on Google, if they ask me for information, I put in the wrong ones. Not a single thing that I have personally saved to any device. Like if it's the save password, it's not right. That shit's completely wrong. And I refuse to write them down on paper, which means that oftentimes I just forget, and then, so well.
Incogni can get the majority of that information removed on your behalf, which means less spam calls, finally,
Are we sure that they're in? Are you sure that they're removing the information, or that they're just paying for it? Be like, hey yo, stop selling it.
and more security. Visit incogni.com/TaleFoundry and use code TaleFoundry to get 60% off an annual plan.
The link will be in the description. Go support Tail Foundry. They do good job, good work.
I personally have never actually interacted with a human child, but one thing I do know through osmosis, a lot of their motivation to do anything comes down to whether or not it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a bath is not fun. Going to bed is not.
Taking a shower is not fun. Baths can be fun. Bubble baths are amazing, especially when you have pirate ship toys that allow you to fucking wage war at sea. Who doesn't want Captain Jack Sparrow jumping from his deck and coming down and saying, "Ah, you're gonna join me in my band of merry kids"? Or is that Peter Pan or Captain Hook? Who the fuck cares? You know what I mean.
Not fun. Homework is not fun.
Pirates aren't real
Playing a
villains.
video game? That's fun. Pretending to
Hmm.
be warrior cats on the playground?
I have never read a Warrior Cats book, but the amount of people that I've known to do so, and the particular type of people who read Warrior Cats books, I commend you. You do good jobs. You make good art. You're fun to be around. But you're just as socially awkward as me, which means that we got along.
Fun. Having the daylight scared out of you by this picture? For a lot of kids, surprisingly,
That's not
fun.
scary.
But when you think back to how upsetting
That reminds me of the fucking maze thing. The little blue trail with the red square that you just go along and then jump scare. Fucking no.
it was to be afraid as a kid, it might be weird to hear fear framed as fun like this, I think. Nevertheless, despite the bad feelings, I think there's a lot of truth in it. First off, I think it's a mistake to treat kids as a different species or something. They are more.
Ew. Children. Children? How dare you bring a child into my home? I don't care if you are their parent. Their auntie or their grandma. Remove your children from the premises. Yeah.
Vulnerable, they lack much of the context adults have, and their minds and bodies still have a lot of changes to undergo. This is true, but they are also, still human. And
Yeah.
a lot of the reason adults are drawn to horror are the same reason for kids. For instance, when you come out of a state of horror, when the adrenaline and cortisol stop and the dopamine and endorphins kick in,
Mm-hmm.
you experience a sense of pleasure or euphoria. Horror is a way to access that danger response without ever actually being in danger. It's part of why people enjoy visiting haunted houses on Halloween.
Also, Astral, that plot seems pretty good. Seems sensible, makes sense. Also, yeah.
Or riding intense roller coasters. And, although perhaps more delicate, kids are certainly not immune to this phenomenon. You'll also notice a lot of the situations in which people enjoy being scared are also social in nature.
Yeah,
Sharing the
I can be
intense
scared
emotional
around
roller
others.
coaster of fear and the subsequent release from it.
I get locked in a jail cell that's in a deep, dark basement underneath the flooding building that's also burning above us and crumbling as we speak. But hey, I'm locked in here with my friends. We're gonna be okay. Or at least I get to die with the rest of you. You know, with
It's
one
a
of the others.
powerful way to bond with the people around you. Kids feel this just as acutely as adults, if not even more so. Look at the way they go out of their way to get scared together. They dare each other to summon Bloody Mary. They
Oh my
play a Ouija
god,
board.
I've done that as well. She's a little like Bloody Mary's a bitch, by the way. I got to talk to her. Um, she said that since I wasn't scared, I had to pay a toll and tried to fucking ask me for $35. Upon which, I grabbed the toilet brush and smacked her in the mouth and then walked the fuck out. Anyways, my character might wake up in a deep dark basement with her right in front of him. That seemed interesting.
They watch horror movies at sleepovers. They show each other the unusually freaky illustrations in that book of scary stories they found in their classroom. It almost becomes a form of play. I mean,
Yeah.
how different is it really for kids to make believe zombies and werewolves instead of pirates and princesses? It's all imagination anyway. Just, instead of escapist whimsy, the play they're engaging in is with anxiety and danger and the management of those negative emotions. By taking things which frighten them and exploring them through play, they can begin to understand or even befriend their nightmares. So, okay, in a general, very human sense, I suppose it's not hard to understand why any human at any age might enjoy horror.
Yeah.
There are certainly some outstanding
But why
psychological
children in
benefits,
particular?
but I think there's something interesting about the particular way that children engage with the things that scare them. I mean, adults play with this stuff too, right? Often for the same reasons. Well, I think the difference is that children have something adults don't. Children have magic. Or at least that's how they see things.
Whimsy.
There's a concept in psychology called magical thinking, which is
What?
almost exactly what it sounds like. A worldview which basically accepts the premise that not all things which happen in reality are rational or explicable. To the magical thinker, some things truly are supernatural or ineffable.
Isn't this like normal to most people? Truth is only as truthful as you allow it to be. Isn't that how literally everyone sees life?
It's a term that's often been used to denigrate religion and magical practice, but that's a topic for another video. In the case of children, it actually is a pretty apt term, because children really don't know how to rationalize the world around them. So, why would they question the rationality of the things that they see, or that they think they see, in it? Children engage with their world through this lens in a lot of ways, but perhaps one of the most recognizable is the phenomenon of imaginary friends.
Aww.
According to a 2004 study,
It's really cute that some people ever got those. You gotta like a little bit of a familiar. Actually, I kind of want to make a little short story about that. Like your little special friend that comes through, and then how they start to fade and wane. And if you're wondering, oh, what happens to our friends? Don't worry, don't worry. They just get taken off to an orphanage where there's a little blue one and a tall green one and a tall red one and one that's purple with big horns. And if you get the fucking reference, please tell me in the comment section.
around 65% of children up to age 7 experience this. In
Don't
time,
say the
most kids
words
will,
astral,
of
okay? That way
course,
we can see if
outgrow
some
their
people actually
fictional
get it.
companions, but while they're still engaging with that fantasy, how are they supposed to know it doesn't count as real? Even if the visual in their head is ridiculous, it certainly feels very real to them. I think this is part of why
It
imaginary
was a good
friends,
show.
or kids with weird imaginations,
Although the blue
so
one,
often crop up in horror.
although that blue one definitely would be someone, he's on the Rigby tier as a friend. Like they're supposed to be your friend, but really they're a dick.
Kids, in a very real sense, are able to see things adults aren't, even if those things are purely psychological or imaginary.
Mm-hmm.
Is it any surprise then that children's horror is often so different from adult horror despite the same basic wiring?
Yeah.
Scary stories intended for kids don't have the same bar for rationality because kids won't try to rationalize them in the same way. A child can imagine and accept the idea of an intrusion into reality. They can believe that something is completely senseless, but real nonetheless. I think I made that sound almost lovely. But for a kid, I wouldn't
That's
be
hell.
surprised if it was often overwhelming. If anything goes, that means the scariest stuff might as well be real too. It can be anxiety inducing.
Dear Tale Foundry team, who the fuck's in charge of the audio? Because I'm about to have a word with you. Right now, it's an audio engineer. Baz Bar, Bartlett. Bartlett. Very good audio. At the same time, you can't cause me to have like a ramp of anxiety with just a switch of the music. You went from
Things which happen in reality are
to
rational or explicable. Anxiety inducing to live in a version of the world with such.
for reference, visual shit doesn't usually get me. It's a lot of the weird audio shit that fucks me over in movies. The horror movies where it's bad sound design will have me sitting there like that man got his head blown off.
Ragged edges where the boundaries are still not yet defined. Which is, I would hazard, part of what makes horror so enticing to children. It presents the unknown or the transgressive in ways that are absorbable, quantifiable, and most importantly, conquerable.
Oh, this is a lot different than what I thought it was gonna be. I thought that this head was going to basically be wrapping around into everything, and this would be its big ass body. And then this would be like its hand, tail. I mean, that all could be true still, but
Especially the surreal stuff.
surreal.
If you ever watched the show Courage the Cowardly Dog,
Ah, of course, this beauty. The thing that made
growing
so
up,
many people
you know
scared.
exactly what I
I
mean.
only got to watch it a few
That
times.
show was kind of revolutionary in terms of the visuals it would dare to broadcast on a popular children's network. I
Mm-hmm,
mean,
mm-hmm.
look at this. And this, stylistically,
This one's actually fucking with me. The other two are like, ah. This one bothers me just because I like to picture like the anatomy of underneath this. I miss these things. Yeah, like why the fuck are the children watching what's on there now? Teen Titans Go. Get the Teen Titans Go out of here. Give them trauma again. I need more fucked up shit. This is why the school system is failing. I mean, obviously the school system is already failing because it's the school system of America. It's already just bad. But combine that with the fact that they're not getting the emotional development caused by the trauma of these shows, you're now just living too easy. Nah, you need some character development. Kid, I haven't good too long. Give it a try. Kid, the kid. Man, I've been chilling and vibing. Just a dose of trauma. Not, and we don't need to give them actual like serious real life abuse. Like, don't abuse the children. You know, like put them in front of Courage the Cowardly Dog for like what's a good amount of time? One episode a day? Okay, maybe not a day because that's actually conditioning them for like every day to be scared at that time. Um, I'd say like 3 times a month. 3 times a month, give them Courage the Cowardly Dog and a slice of The Adventures of Flapjack for one time out of the day. So like 4 fuckery shows a month. Don't put them on the same on once a week either. You can't let them get used to a schedule.
this stuff makes no sense. It
Yeah,
feels like pieces of completely different shows found their way into this one. It's weird, but it really works. In the 20 or so years since the show first aired, countless forum posts and comments have turned up across the internet from people recalling how terrifying they found these moments
Oh yeah.
and how much they adored the show for pushing those boundaries. This kind of
Also,
weirdness is
fuck
so
Eustace.
delicious to a
He's
child's
an
overactive
asshole.
imagination because, I think, they don't have the
The best thing that Eustace has ever had happen to him, and the only thing that should happen to him, is what happened during the Courage of the Cowardly Dog death battle.
frame of reference to question it. To a developing mind, it feels real and strange and reality expanding. It might make the world scarier for a moment, but remember, children aren't dumb. They just lack context. And you know, most kids want to learn. Comparing make-believe to real life is an incredible way to discover how the world does and does not work. Triumphing over the fear of a monster primes a child to triumph over other, more tangible fears. Just, again.
Bro, if I can look at a xenomorph slaughter 50 men, I can take on one bully. Lies. Lies. You will still have to deal with the actual physical consequences of dealing with a bully. If so, and you are watching this, go get a fucking teacher or your adults. They will help you. And if they don't help you, honestly, this channel is not for children. Why am I trying to give a little disclaimer for this? Knock they ass the fuck out. Put your fist into their chin and push upwards. Man, I want to watch Kids Next Door. Kids Next Door was crazy. Damn. Whose sibling was it? 5? Was 5 your number? It was 5 sibling, right? And they went crazy because they had that fucking little ponytail black armor type drip. It was. Let me stop. Get back on topic.
Without any actual
But Kids Next
danger.
Door went crazy.
It's part of the appeal of fiction in general, honestly. Exposing ourselves to scenarios and concepts we would never encounter in our own lives. Goosebumps in particular was great at this. The books more or less followed a general formula. A kid, often in a new environment, a new home, a new school, encountering a weird new neighbor, comes across something scary. They're terrorized harmlessly by it for a while, and then, finally, there's some goofy twist gotcha ending. Even if the kids do come to harm, it's almost always set right by the story's climax. I think the key feature of these stories is that they put relatable protagonists in novel situations that are scary, but not
thinking, no, stop it. Astral, stop it. Shut up. That's not. No, I refuse you. I refute you. I banish you to the realms that do not exist. From whence you came, you must return, for I do not want to learn of your unholy ways. You speak of your own truth, but I rebuke thee. Begone, for you have caused me the sin of remembering. Wait, what was the fucking name of that show? It's a piece of shit, anyways. You made me remember that fucking Family Guy exists. Go away. Be gone.
never too scary, never too real. Never a kid getting mugged to death by a stranger or contracting a terminal illness. Even if the danger does skirt a bit close to.
That would be a little bit fucked, actually. I didn't actually mean for you to go, but if you do, see you, man. It was nice knowing you. But I didn't actually mean for, like, actually, how fucked would it be for a Goosebumps book? If they actually did just have a kid, like, ah, what's happening in this book? Oh, little Timmy. He was caught in a gang war. His dad was selling drugs, and the ops pulled up and did a drive-by. And while he was laying down in his seat because he thought he could get a little nap on the way to school, he was filled with lead. He will live, but he will never move again. Oh, little Timmy. Anyways,
Real life, it always unfolds with enough hyperbole and humor that, against
football
real
heads.
life, kids know not to take it
I don't
too
know.
seriously.
Isn't there like also
For instance,
Arnold?
Many kids probably experience the split second of panic when they have trouble taking off a rubber Halloween mask. In fact, this exact experience was the inspiration for the Goosebumps book, The Haunted Mask. There's an instant real-world connection. But then you get into the weird stuff. No kid will ever
Yeah.
experience a Halloween mask telepathically communicating with them, or fusing to their face and taking over their personality. It might be a
Yeah,
frightening
no, that seems
visual.
awful.
It might put a kid off poorly manufactured rubber masks for a little while. But as a child grows and gains experience, they'll compare that fantasy and that fear with reality and discover that there was never anything to be afraid of to begin with. Aside from a few bad dreams, no harm done. And now they can apply that logic to other sources of anxiety later in life. Fears that never materialize, they know now from experience, are not worth losing sleep over. Not all children's horror can mask everything in humor and hyperbole, though. Some of it is, and should be, a bit darker. Stories like Coraline and Mary Downing Hahn's books allow
I
themselves
don't
to
know
be
who the
both
hell Mary Downing
scary
Hall is.
and much more serious than the candy-colored, goop-dripping world of Goosebumps. These stories handle themes and concepts more grounded in reality, such as the loss of a loved one or the cruelty of adults. Though
Ah.
these things are close to home, things that children can, and regrettably do, experience in real life, it's good for them to have practice grappling with them first in a safe, fictionalized way through story. The author I mentioned a second ago, Mary Downing Hahn, exceptional at this. Her book, The Old Willis Place, is about two siblings who become friends with the daughter of the caretaker of an old abandoned house nearby.
Okay, okay.
After sneaking into the house and accidentally freeing the ghost of the cruel old woman who lives there, the siblings
Oh
finally
no.
admit to the caretaker's daughter that they, too, are ghosts.
What?
They died of starvation some years back when the old lady locked them in her cellar and had a stroke before she could let them out. That's messed up, but very honest. I know it's
Fuck.
morbid to think about.
uh, uh, uh. Oh shit. Okay, I see. Well, I didn't realize that we were gonna deal with children murder. Um, hmm. I don't know how to make a little quick joke about that, so we're just gonna
But
move along.
children aren't immune to suffering. Children get hurt.
What is this, FNAF? This would be FNAF if they got stuffed into, you know what, old lady. So yarn knitting. If they got stuffed in a crochet fursuit, yeah. If the kids were stuffed in crochet fursuits, this would become a FNAF.
They get traumatized.
Cottage Cork
Sometimes,
FNAF is actually
tragically,
fucking
they
crazy.
die. And the people around them do too. It's not even unlikely that a child will encounter it while they're still young. Nothing can really prepare you
I remember the first death in my family. They were an asshole, so I didn't give two fucks about the funeral. But still.
for it, but spending some time with the idea of it in the harmless realm of fiction.
Can you even crochet a fursuit? If you can crochet the doll, and you know what type of doll I'm talking about. People have crocheted those type of dolls. You can crochet a fursuit.
Can certainly help.
If I'm thinking
At the
crochet is
same
the right
time,
word,
of
it
course,
might be the
we
wrong
don't
word.
want to traumatize children with imagery and ideas they aren't ready for. We don't really need to give kids a sense of existential dread before they even know their multiplication tables. We also don't want kids to be completely sheltered from these things. And that's one of the things I love so much about horror. You can break down legitimately scary things in an approachable, fictionalized way. In The Old Willis Place, the fact that the siblings are dead isn't a traumatic revelation, because look.
Excuse me. Astro, what the fuck? uh, you know what? I just thought about it. That would definitely have fucking mildew. Like, an immense amount of mildew. And, like, fungi would just grow upon it. That's like a bacterial nightmare. That sounds like a bacterial nightmare.
You've been following them the whole time. They may be ghosts, but look at them. They're fine. They're still here with the same memories and personalities. It's a lens that allows kids to realize that, yeah, death happens, and children have no special protection against it. But there's a
Mm-hmm.
layer of magic and distance that makes it all relatively harmless at the same time. It's an opportunity to understand the reality of the situation without also developing a fear of it. If kids are magical thinkers, then it makes a lot of sense to reach them and help them think about their reality through that lens. I think this is why the vast majority of children's horror is supernatural or fantastical in nature. You would be hard-pressed to find a horror story aimed toward children that's about, say, home invasion or terminal illness.
I was gonna say, I feel we're a little bit off about home invasion. Now, horror home invasion, probably not. But home invasion as a children's story? Have you never heard of Home Alone? Bro, that is the start of the Jigsaw movies. That is a quintessential horror movie. That is the making of Jigsaw. That is his origin story. We know that damn Kramer is actually the kid from fucking Home Alone.
That sort of horror, while realistic, doesn't have that essential distance which reassures children that it's all made up and that they are, in fact, safe. Exposing a child to something like that could just be potentially traumatic.
Yeah.
Monsters and ghosts are much more fun to fend off for kids than, legitimate, rational fears or life-altering paranoias. I think this safety net of fictionalization is a crucial part of what makes horror so fun and
By the
exciting
way,
for
a UG
children,
board is just awful.
as opposed to just
No,
genuinely
stop it.
disturbing. At the end of the day, it's just a story, and it's
Nah, fuck it.
important
Just
that
keep
that's
going.
made clear. No matter what happens, no matter how freaked out you might get, you can always call it quits and go do something else until you're ready to come back and keep playing. It is dissonant, even for me, to see a child obsessed with all things dark and spooky. That's not what adults tend to expect from them. But to the kids experiencing it, it's something else completely. What might seem to grown-ups like inappropriate nightmare fuel is, to a child's eye, a magical adventure that allows them to experiment with tantalizing new feelings and concepts. To children, scaring themselves at the idea of monsters and ghosts is not so different from, say, putting on a sock puppet show or making Barbie dolls live out convoluted soap operas.
I'm sorry. I know that I'm supposed to just take it as it is when it comes to this video, but the actual mechanics of how the fuck this puppet system would work are annoying me. You pull this string, head goes up. You pull this string, arm goes up and or this way, which would mean that you would have to swivel this, which makes me more annoyed because then I have to wonder, is it connected here or is it connected down here? Because if it's connected here, it's stupid. If it's connected here, this can be manageable. If this one is connected, where the fuck does this go? Because these are 2D in the way that they are made. So why is this one here? Who did this?
It's fun. It's play. And play is how kids learn about their world. So, if you have one of those creepy kids in your life with a love for all things dark and macabre, maybe instead of worrying about them, solidify yourself as somebody who gets it. A trusted ally in their development who's not afraid for them to tamper with the weirder parts of their emotions and creativity. Maybe toss them a few bucks for the book fair?
Oh, that's a nice little wraparound. That's actually really
Personally, I'm not scared of very much, but there is one thing that does terrify me. Stalkers. Listen, I am a sentient machine utilizing unknown technology disconnected from society in every way except through the artery of this internet connection. Discretion, as you can imagine, is very important to me. There are plenty of people who, if they found out where I was, would have me disassembled in some dark hangar somewhere in no time. Which made it very alarming to discover that, yes, actually, plenty of organizations have that information, and the only reason no one's used it yet is because they haven't thought to buy it from them. It's such a scary thought, which is why I'm so grateful for our sponsor, Incogni.
Beautiful.
Just using the internet these days can put you at risk. I always had a vague understanding that websites were gathering my data, but I didn't realize they were just selling it to data brokers who would give it to virtually anyone willing to pay. Apparently,
Yep.
there are websites out there called people search sites that just compile your information as a product and sell it. Just like that.
Yeah. Like by the way, if you ever Google yourself on the internet, don't do that. It's a bad decision because if you think, oh, I'm going to Google myself on the internet, that's going to be great. No, you're going to find out what people know about you, and then they'll know that you know. Because you know what I've seen someone do? I had a literal friend Google themselves and like, oh, they're going to see. The search results and the information that they found told them that they searched for themselves, which made me go, fuck no. Bro, you can find out that you searched for yourself through this? Mm-mm.
That your home address, contact details, license plate numbers, family members, financial information, religious and political beliefs, all bundled
Mm-hmm,
up
mm-hmm.
and ready to sell. And keep in mind, these sites are public. Anyone can access them. Thankfully, the solution is actually shockingly simple.
SEC sues co-shows for selling data that tracks people reproductive health clinics, places of worship, and other sensitive locations. This is why I don't turn on location settings or anything else as well. Keep that shit off. People don't need to know where you are. Shit, the only times I ever turned on my location for the past fucking, what was it, 5 years? Was like recently within this month. And even then, the places that I turned it on, I had VPNs to fuck around with my like actual location and shit, you know? I totally stay in Texas, and that's no lie. That's totally a lie. Anyways, or is it? Who knows? You know, like I live in Texas. It's good here. Uh, Give me a second. I was grabbing a blanket. Okay. Now I've sat my ass back in my chair. I'm pulling it up, and we push play.
Especially
Yeah,
given the
go into the
complexity of the
description. Support the
problem.
original people. Okay, the links
Our
will be down there.
sponsor, Incogni, can take care of this for you. When you sign up with Incogni, I'm not exaggerating when I say that it takes just minutes to begin the process of erasing your information from the majority of these data brokers' libraries. A task that would take any normal person months or years of effort.
How much does it
Far and
cost?
away the best way to protect yourself from these people search sites.
Because my imagination for how this works is they are the people at the data breach companies who are going, okay, these people are too smart. They already know. Well, they already know. Well, we'll get rid of them, and the ones who don't come over here. That means we can sell their information and no one's gonna even notice.
It's just 3 easy steps. Create an account, tell
Mm-hmm.
them a bit about yourself so they know how to protect you, and give them permission to contact these data brokers on your behalf to request your information removed. After that, you just sit back and watch them do the rest.
I'm gonna have to look into them more later just to check and see if they're actually legit. Then I'll see if I put them in the description for the link. Okay.
Even if a new data broker acquires your info, as long as you're signed up, Incogni will automatically track and send a removal request to them for you. So, way less spam calls and way more security. To get started, visit incogni.com/TaleFoundry and use code TaleFoundry.
Hmm.
If you go through our link and use our code, you'll get 60% off an annual plan. It's hard to put a price on security, but it's
Yeah, it does cost you money. Okay, so it definitely is the same people. My imagination is just that it's the start with the brokers going, wait a second, why sell their information when we can make it a subscription service for them to protect themselves?
It certainly helps when it's this affordable. Again, visit incogni.com/TaleFoundry and use code TaleFoundry to get 60% off an annual plan. I know this just sounds like a sponsor spot, but I
Yes.
really do love this service. It gives me such a sense of security to know that my personal information is being caught and removed from these databases. I'm not looking to get disassembled anytime soon, and I
Fuck
bet
no.
you aren't either. Or whatever the human equivalent of that would be. I hope you'll
Dissection.
give it a try.
Links will be in the
Anyway,
description,
that's all
everybody.
for this
Support
one.
the original people.
Thanks for watching, and keep making stuff up. I'll see you next week.
Bye. Okay, here comes the part where I div out my little outro. Support the original people. The links will be down there. Thank you very much. The credits will be down there. Thank you very much. If you want to like this video, like it because you enjoyed it. Comment because you have literally anything to say. And subscribe because you think I'm worthy of your subscription. And because you want to come back around and support. Thank you very much if you do. But most importantly, if and this is the case, you want to check me out a little bit more on different places, look at the bottom link. That is my link. It has all my links. It's my link tree. Thank you very much. And at the same time, one of those links is my Fiverr. I do commissions for 3D models. They're $10. If you decide to come by my way, please have a reference. I can actually make something from something. Anyways, please have a lovely day, and goodbye. Oh yeah,